Hey, whoop, 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 whoop. Is it recording? I think it is. Okay, g'day friends and colleagues and the office of the Prime Minister and Cabinet of the country. My name's Dr. Rich Mclean and I'm a murder victim. How do I know that? I'll tell you in a minute. I am breaking my silence as a failed whistleblower in regards to many, many things, including the cover-up of my death, which was a systemic, long, over time, oppressive conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which silenced evidence and desecrated me financially and in all ways, aided and abetted my death, and the result was my death. Now, people might say, I did that, but in actual fact, I have evidence that is explained and valued, validated, and proven beyond doubt at killim.info, which is the government's modus operandi for me. I wish to say that this simply just be officially acknowledged as my mechanism for reporting these heinous crimes and the conspiracy to pervert the cause of justice and victimisation, liberal slander, all that kind of stuff, so many other crimes, to the compensatory measures of the Office of Prime Minister and Cabinet, because I need to get this to the Australian government, and it serves two purposes. Also, to you, the public, as evidence, and I want this website, killim.info, to be acknowledged that all the evidence I produce on the website is got to do with the conspiracy, and that it actually describes the whole horrid fucking thing. It will need to be assessed, summarised, acknowledged, recorded, and documented and ledgered. And I'd like to just lightheartedly say that if the government does not acknowledge this evidence in the way that I've suggested, and all the evidence on killing.info, that they are guilty of a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice and victimisation and fraud and murder and vilification and victimisation, slander, destroying evidence before a court, corrupt officials, a person of interest disclosure, whistleblowing, and many other criminalities I won't even mention. Then I lightheartedly suggest to put in as a caveat here that I have access to 5 litres of liquid LSD. And I'll direct my boys to and the girls to and the transgender people to tip that 5 litres of LSD into Melbourne's water supply. And because that caveat is in there, and you don't know if I'm crazy, could I be? If you can't be crazy if you know you're crazy. Then if it is not acknowledged, I'll just tip it into the water supply. And I say that flippantly, but by that caveat, it's now a federal crime for investigation, and you will have to listen to the rest of the video, and it simply must be alleged, acknowledged, and documented in a fashion that values my very existence and doesn't aid and abet my death, and highlights the incredibly, truly horrible bureaucracy and an individualised and victimising movement that to aid and abet the death of one person. Guess who? I must be pretty important, I reckon. Anyway, that has already happened, okay? So I've already died because of government, local, state and federal systemic oppression. And it happened in a public place, in a hospital. Sadly, you would think there would be some avenue for at least an acknowledgement of the death that occurred. Sadly, as before my death, I've been desecrated. After my death, I have been extraordinarily desecrated, and I will explain why. So I want to say that I am a multi-millionaire. Now, they say health is the greatest wealth, but I'm a bit fucked in the head now because I've got an acquired brain injury and can't remember much. Except but I haven't got the cash of the multi-millionaire because I've been framed, exploited, and desecrated by the movement that has literally oppressed and killed me. But here is my pitch for justice. Otherwise, my death benefit when I'm killed will pay my supporters. Now I'm asking for supporters today, and I want to explain why. You, the public, can help. Or I will most likely be robbed of all agency and what I have already. I've got nothing. In order to aid and abet my death by a multi-time suicide survivor doing it himself before I get justice. That is the methodology of what these attacks by proxy do to me. If you believe in justice, equality, and equity, then you must hear and witness the evidence yourself on killim.info and hear this little rant of this impossible to bloody believe story, because I can hardly believe it myself sometimes. I tell people, I go, you're crazy. And I go, I know. But it's true. I guarantee you will make money for yourself and your charity. So if you donate to me $20 through killim.info, I will guarantee that when I get justice, I will give you the $20 back plus 25% and a charity of your choice. This is a win-win situation. If you have the prosperity to lend to a justice cause, in that I may not be killed, and that this be ledgered with the government so that they are forced to act to protect me in whistleblower status, which I have been denied by every agency in the country, then you will guaranteed get your money back. You'll get 25% on top, and you will also get 25% to your registered charity. This is because when one domino goes over and I get justice, I'm getting fucking a lot of justice, and I don't need that much money. So I have enough to give back. I'm a very simple person and I live on Buddhist ethics and I don't need much. And that's the funny thing, because people think this is about money, but it's not. It's about ethics and literally avoiding being murdered. So I guarantee you'll make your money back. I mean, I've been brutalised, victimised, identified, vilified, prejudiced against, discriminated against, fired. I've been sexually abused, I've been maimed, I've been framed, I've been shamed and blamed, kept in financial coercion, I've been robbed. I'm society's archetypal scapegoat. Now, the scapegoat character in like a Jungian archetypal sense is the being that everyone pins their sins on and then they send it out in the wilderness to die. Now, the sins they place on that animal are the conscious or unconscious neuroses or things that people can't deal with that they have within themselves. And by that, in a symbolic nature, via my... Now, I used to be a little bit famous doing my 25 plus year advocacy work for people with marginalised situations in a very public role. It spoke from Parliament to Montreal to Dubbo to Warrnambool to... all the radio and TV stations and all that. But now I'm actually infamous. I'm the most infamous bloody vagrant that is so visible and conscious in the in across the government and framed by all the systems that be to exploit the prejudices that already exist in society that turn my friends and family against me. But anyway, look, I forgive you all. It has been this brutal oppression over years and years and years. It's been conscious, it's been malicious, it's been extremely intentional, and it victimises one person. So I need a vape, and that's me. And it's been an almost intolerable journey, really. These attacks are done via proxy. Via proxy, I mean they're done by an agency, by someone who's paid by the government to toe the party line. And in that way, they're doing a very cowardice thing, not acknowledging their own critical thinking, not acknowledging the justice of one single person. Everyone who is in a .gov.au or a .vic.gov.au or any agency or company associated with the government are directly and oppositely opposed to me. And the actual sense of vertigo you get when you consider the amount of agencies that I have reverse engineered from my complaints many years ago about a GP in which I was framed as an extortionist, which is fucking ridiculous. Because at the same time, someone gave me $100,000. It was my old renter, the old place in my old house. And the guy said it was a mistake. The voices told him to do it. So I gave it back. It was no issue. So a conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which is not only illegal within this country's litigation, it transpired both before to and leading up to my murder. And then sadly, very sadly, it was even more abhorrent after it. Now, you would think for a suicide survivor in a hospital that you would be cared for in some way. I'll just say this very briefly. They rejected me with no home, no food, no money, no car, no job. Get out. I had to hitch an Uber home and pay it later. I got home, was told to pay rent myself. I was dust, mate. I didn't know it yet. I had an acquired brain injury, and I still, to this day, can't feel my feet. It took 10 months to see... 4 months to see a psychiatrist. You'd think there's actually plans that say follow them up every 1 or 2 days. 4 months it took me to see a psychiatrist, and they still, under Dave Stevenson, the CEO of the hospital, denied me the medication that I desperately needed. So I've been absolutely and utterly desecrated and destroyed because I'm victim blamed now. The second time I saw them was nearly 11 months later, and that was to officially kick me right off the fucking system because they said there was a, what did they say? They said there was a impasse. An impasse. Oh. Anyway, so the impasse stated that I had no help. I was rejected as a suicide survivor. I was found accidentally, and I was found having bled out, and it is a painful way to die, let me tell you. And I was found with no pulse, and I was found unresponsive. And the pure fluke of being found unresponsive by accident and then revived is the very reason I'm speaking. You would think after something of that capacity occurs in a public place where you intentionally went there to avoid that very thing happening, there would be at least a simple atonement or acknowledgement that it existed. However, no one stood up for me, not one person. I've fought this battle long and hard by myself, and I've had enough, so I'm going public. And so I went to the Health Complaints Commissioner, I went to the Mental Health Complaints Commissioner, all that kind of stuff. Went right up to the State Ombudsman, and even that contravened the human rights abuses because I used an illegal instrument, and that they had abandoned the duty of care. I mean, I died in the hospital. Which is obviously a fucking issue. The ombudsman, the Victorian ombudsman, said there was nothing wrong with it. And to further that, I cannot go to police. I want to put rape, murder, fraud, drug trafficking, embezzlement, coercion, stealing of cars. I need to tell them all these crimes. I've recorded them, me speaking to them, time and time again. I literally can't go to police. I literally don't have a lawyer. I literally can't get a lawyer. I'm banned from the Victorian legislator thing I just found out. So anyway, going back to that thing before. So after the murder, I was treated so bad. I've got no healthcare. No healthcare. It's been a year after after that terrible fucking suicide, which was really a conspiracy to murder. I have evidence that all of the agencies, the ones I unpacked one after the other, left the string going so long and knew that I was going downhill because of the intense stress of the non-acknowledgement, the gaslighting, the rejection, the ostracisation, and the non-acknowledgement of my legitimate concerns that I had A-grade, unequivocal, unarguable evidence for. And that evidence was silenced. So there you go. All that's on the website, killing.info. So, victimisation and slander and libel are against legal principles in this country. And so they got me. After years of oppression and a heinous, difficult uphill battle, which has been for my whole life, I was murdered by a systemic and elongated government, local, state and federal malicious oppression. And then, further than that, it was covered up. I have no health care at the moment. Since January, February, March, I haven't seen a psychologist or a psychiatrist. I'm supposed to be on the medication. I haven't got medical care. I've barely got a GP. I've got no lawyer. I'm banned from lawyers. I'm banned from the police. I've got no food. I've barely got any money. For the last year, I've survived on $40 to $60 a week. It's a little distressing. You know, it's enough to tip you over the edge and want to kill yourself. But anyway, this malicious oppression was done by proxy attacks with government agencies, and they all witnessed me as a very vulnerable person, be at great risk to myself. And that is the evidence that proves that these agencies act with impunity and no conscience, paid by the government as pawns, individuals, tens of thousands of them, sticks in the faggot of the government that fucking is whacking me over there trying to kill me. So I'm now called as my duty to oppose the injustice of the Australian government, and I will fucking take it to the Federal Circuit Court, and I will fucking take it to the Supreme Court. Why am I free? Why am I even fucking free? Have I done anything wrong? You know what? I predict, and I've predicted long ago, that they will try and pin me with something. And when I was incarcerated last, again, in the same hospital that I went to die and was murdered, a faceless, I knew him from another time, but he told me that I could be a permanent acquisition of the state or something, like I could be locked up forever. It's so scary to think that the government has that much power and influence that they can do that, and that they can intelligently and with incredible design and influence, they can describe and render the things that have happened to me. It is absolutely frightening. I have a voice though, and I've still got my sense of humour. So it's an impossibly large obstacle of one singular person, me, against the entire fucking government. Now, but you know, that's the fucking path, you know, the obstacle is the path. People say, move on. What am I going to fucking do? What would I do, you know? Anyway, so I've been working alone in my squat, in utter desecration, robbed of millions of dollars, and I'm bereft of a fucking cent, and that's intelligently designed. I've got barely any food. I've barely got an internet connection. Sometimes I don't have a phone. And I don't need much. That's the good thing. I only need, for all people who want to support me, just to be supported in a very, very simple life, free from oppression. And that includes the death threats that come to my window by thugs from the government that I can't report to a police. Now, I need food. I need healthcare. An unbiased doctor would be nice. I need access to an independent, unbiased lawyer who can give me access to the Federal Circuit Court or the Supreme Court. I need my simple Maslow's hierarchy of needs met. This is the process I'm going through launching the website and asking for people to donate at this time just to see me through, and you will get the money back with extra. And I just need to care for my dog, Crystal. Crystal! Crystal! Are you there? Crystal! Crystal! Oh, she's in bed. She's pissed off with me. And I need vet food, money for my vet. I need the bare basics of gas, electricity, water, phone, internet, and subscriptions on my computer paid. Please, everyone, you've known me. You know what a person I am. I'm not an evil person. I spent 25 plus years helping marginalised people in a very public role. Please help me to help the world and help you and help your charity and to survive and thrive and give back to the community like I always have fucking done. And that's what I want. They've already framed and killed me, and it was a conspiracy to murder. And I just can't believe this story is even happening to me. And this is what I need to do. I mean, I complained to IBAC about the police, and they rejected me. I complained. There's so many agencies. It goes into it on the website. I won't keep you much longer. But I've already been killed, and I'm a failed whistleblower. With the Ombudsman, with APRA, with APRA, with IBAC, everywhere. I'm absolutely fucking cooked. And I have a letter from the Attorney General because I've been fucked over by Comcare, by AAT, by APRA, by AFCA, and the Ombudsman. Now, my work cover claim, which is probably because I'm fucked in the head now, worth a TPD of $1.5 million, which is going to fucking a tribunal next week. I wrote to Mclean, the Attorney General, and said, this is fucked. Like, this is your portfolio. And I detailed all of the fucking injustices that have occurred, highlighting to her that she has to intervene because this is corrupt. And I specifically said, I'm not mad. I don't need welfare. I need justice. And I need you to act so that I get acknowledged by my fair and just thing for leaving work, which was a legitimate reason. And she wrote back and she just said, oh, sorry. She wrote back via proxy of a nameless person. And this is the Attorney General of the country, mind you. And anyway, she wrote back to me and said, sorry about here, but experience about Comcare. And also, oh, you must be very distressed. Like, here's the number for Sane Helpline. I'm like, oh, you fucking idiot. My book was Sane's Book of the Year. I was a Sane speaker, and Jack Heath, the CEO, I spoke to at detail about this thing about, it's just, I'm just going around in circles, you know. So I'm a fucking famous vagrant. So here's where you can help. The government, this is the 4 ways it'll go. It'll go 4 ways. The government affords me compensation because I've shared this video, whereby I'll live a simple life, free from oppression, with whistleblower status, and you afford me a decent and acknowledgeable payout that matches the injustice that I've already missed out on, and in addition, the extra sin of killing me that I've proven on the website, killing.info, and the conspiracy to pervert the course of justice, which is an abhorrent way to treat a marginalised person and to actively aid and abet their death systemically from the top is fucking crude. And so that's one. And that they continue, or they'll continue to ignore me until enough of the public, that's you guys, so share this video, aware of the heinous conspiracy to murder and further aid and abet my death via proxy attacks of systemic institutions, that the government will act and fucking do something about it. I have been a human rights awarded advocate. I'm an artist. I'm a PhD. I'm a doctor. I'm a intelligent and articulate, spiritually intelligent and multi-dimensional person. Just because you don't understand me doesn't mean that I'm mad. This means I see a broader bit of the picture than you. And I'm not being patronising anyway. I have a broad experience. That's actually my downfall too, because I find it overwhelming to be in, family and public spaces and stuff. But anyway, so it's part of the part. Third thing, I will be killed by proxy. What do you do to kill someone? You take their money. You take their rights. You take their voice. You damn them to hell in every fucking way you can. Now, that has happened to me already. I've barely got food. Poor dog. I've been feeding her sardines and bits of bread. I've barely got any support. There must be some people out there who have acknowledged my 25 plus year career, my Human Rights Award winning book, my ardent advocacy role, and the very love and creativity and fun I've put into life for people. If you can donate just a small bit, that'd be amazing. You know, as it stands, I live on $60 a week. If someone donated a month's rent, that's a fucking amazing thing. That's 1,646. You get it back. You literally get it back, and you get 25% back, and you get 25% for your charity. Everyone is winning here, right? And the last, the third one is I'll be killed by proxy, which is just going to make it so hard for me that I'll just fucking have to. I mean, I'm a vagrant already. I'm squatting in this house. I've got nowhere to go. The internet's just about to cut out, and the phone. I'm going to have to go and camp and the very last one is that I will form my own constitution as an individual country and refugee unconnected to the government and powers that be, and I will be protected by the public and my supporters in exchange for my advocacy, my 25 years plus work in altruism, supporting other people who are marginalised, more marginalised than me, for my advocacy, for my pride, for my intelligence, for my access to making young people a priority in my research, in my PhD, in my creativity, the art I've given to the world, and to my continued living and giving. There must be some people out there who acknowledge all the things I've done. And you can also go, I've finally got the website back, richmclean.com.au, because further, after I was killed, and I got rejected all that healthcare and stuff, I get a random message. All my evidence is on email, right? I've been 20 years with this place. Micron21, gee, thanks Micron21, sent me an email, and they're connected to the government, saying they accused me of being conspiratorial. Ugh. So they just sent me a letter and said, you're no longer a customer, we've deleted your websites, we've deleted your evidence, good luck in court, we've deleted all your emails and all your backups, and go and get fucked. You're no longer a customer, we've blocked your number. And not an agency, the business.gov, the family business ombudsman, the small business ombudsman, the intellectual property people, the lawyer, the police, no one did anything about it because I have got no power and no voice. The voice I have is with the support from my people and my public. So please have a look at the information on killim.info. It goes on a bit because it does actually drive you quite mad, this systemic repeating gaslighting that goes off. And I think I've had to be very, 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 very resilient and trust my own instincts to be able to afford to exist for this long, even post-death. It's been nearly a whole year, you know. I've had literally next to nothing. So if you can help, I want justice, I want to help you, I want to help me, I want there to be conciliation, and if nothing else works, I want to live independently and I want to give back to the community as my track record has proven. Otherwise, I want the government to investigate this and I want to come to a conciliation, and if you don't, I will further circulate this with help from my supporters, and I will shame you into the abhorrent treatment by very many systemic agencies, including APRA, NHPOBC, IBAC, the police, the Federal Police, Small Business and Families Ombudsman, Centrelink, Family Services, who else? Office of the Public Prosecutions, just so many. The Office of the Small Business Ombudsman, the Ombudsman, the Family Ombudsman, the Federal Circuit Court. There's just so many. It's just an incredible amount of systemic oppression that has blacklisted, gaslighted, and not acknowledged me to the point that I've now been rendered a a infamous vagrant and an infamous vagrant and a fucking helpless, penniless ruin. But you know what? Health is the greatest wealth. And even though I'm a bit fucked in the head, don't fuck with me. Yeah. So I want your help. Thank you. Thank you for listening to this video. I've waited weeks to do this, but this is the last stand. Please help me. Please help me to help others. And please stand up for injustice and the opposition to tyranny and to government oppression. Thank you. Everyone, it's Dr. Richard Mclean. Bit marred in the head, but I got a drop lip. But yeah, I'm dead. If you're watching this, and I'm continuing to be gaslighted and ostracised and neglected by proxy attack through government, local, state, and federal agencies to be dead. I want to say one thing first. I forgive myself. I forgive you all. All of you, my former partner, who I lost my virginity to, my parents, my sisters, everyone who's ostracised me. My story is an interesting one. I'm a doctor of philosophy. I apparently have a mental illness. Where do I start? So there's this extraordinary, I don't even know where to start because my mind's a bit marred, you see, because I suffered a fatal injury in Werribee Mercy Hospital in March. I've lived in poverty since then because people and the, well, it comes from like a gaslighting narcissist type personality in my former partner. Hi Steve, who owes me like some money, lots of money. And left me homeless with his dying dog, even though he was a millionaire and worked for ASIO. So here's the complexity. And I'm a vulnerable, marginalised person, but money is not my currency. I admire knowledge. I love sex. I've sucked a lot of cock and porked a bit of pussy. But that's beside the point. I love my dog. I love my own company. I love myself. And that's not said in an aggressive and obnoxious way. It's just said in a gentle, kind way. I'm a humble person, and I have given 20 years of advocacy after writing a human rights awarded autobiography on my experience with schizophrenia, which was apparently a thing, but I've proved it as not to be a thing in a doctoral study, which passed. So look, I'll judge to the main issues. I died in a hospital. The injury was fatal. It was because of systemic oppressive government attacks by proxy that stemmed, I think, not sure, from the flying monkeys of the narcissist, and also framed by the Herald Sun, where I used to work now. The lovers, the avant-garde, the outside thinkers, and the ones who push things forward, the mad ones, the ones that bring the colour, the ones that bring the conflict, the ones that make the source for the art, you know, they push the human race forward, I think. Historically, as Jesus and Martin Luther King, whatever, I'm not comparing myself to those people, by the way. That archetypal Jungian person is always scapegoated or killed, and I have been dead. I've been one of those people who have spoken my mind and walked to the beat of my own drum. I get paranoid, actually, that maybe I'm some kind of narcissist figure, but in actual fact, I'm a very powerful person. Even though I've got nothing, I can't rent this house. I've survived since January 22nd, since I left work, helping people after a failed VOCAT case, which was cooked in hindsight, about my own child sexual abuse case, and another one previous to that where I was beaten up and saved the day. And I'm a bit of a Buddhist person. I got into a fray and was pinned on me. I didn't understand why. All this goes back to, let's go back in time. So the Werribee Mercy suicide conspiracy to manslaughter, that was from a systemic oppression that existed from a complaint with a GP. Hello, doctor, I forgive you. everyone has a bad day, whether a neurosurgeon or a pilot. So I consider this an ethical thing, and I did have anger. More so, I had ethical dilemma with this thing because I'd actually forgotten about it and found my suicide note. And the records will show I defended the doctor to the nth degree. The more I was pushed back, the more the space existed to open up to aid and abet my death while I was becoming distressed. This is amplified by my sexual abuse case, which went in tandem, and then my business that I ran for 2 years after I finished a doctorate. So the conspiracy to murder, I call it, was not delusions of grandeur. Even the hospital notes acknowledge that I was neither delusional or psychotic. I record things because I forget things, and I want to check it's real. That's from being gaslit for a long time. The recording was evidence that was banned from a court and covered up by so many people, MP Greg Hunt and a whole of other people, MPs, CEO of Southern Australia, Harper, Health Commissioner, NHP, APC. It just went on and on. I was becoming distressed, and when I got the news that my VOCAT case had been outright rejected, the lawyer didn't give me an answer, and the magistrate said I was doomed to fail, which was rather colourful language from a sexual abuse survivor. Look, I've got faith. I've healed. Healing. We're in a constant state of flux. What is not ethical is that I can die in a fatal injury that is considered lethal in a place where I went to avoid that. And further than that, I've been victim blamed, went through all the right agencies, the Health Compliance Commissioner, all that again, up to the Ombudsman and up to whistleblowing status to try and report that fatality and the injury that occurred to me. And it's been clear since then that the odds are stacked against me. I'm a registered allied professional therapeutic support for the NDIS, and I am on the NDIS. So I don't know whether I'm on stage clapping in the audience, getting kicked out the back, or the one being slaughtered on the stage. Now, it's interesting that this this movement to desecrate me in all ways has existed post-hospital. So, for example, for a suicidal patient to be released with no home, squatting on the dole when I was on a pension for a while longer before that, and they should have known better. That was from the government, and this proxy attack has been happening for me for a really long time. And I was really sad about my death. My life means so much to me. I had been framed. I found out after I'd suicided and got released, and then everyone rejected me and victim blamed me and blah, blah, blah. So now I've been painted as some kind of bad guy, but what's happening is there's the institutions and the oppressors attacking me in 1,000 million different ways, and I, as one person, can't acknowledge or defend myself. Now, I've been to the Ombudsman, who's condoned that fatality is okay. I've offered a meagre conciliation to the hospital, which they've outright refused, and said the hospital CEO said, sue me directly. So, framed by that, I can't get a lawyer. This is going back even before. So there's that issue with my death, and the further non-treatment. I've got no psychiatrist. I've got no psychologist. I've barely got a GP. I have not got the medication I need. Since January 22nd, I've lived on the dole. They put me back to work while I was still on sick leave in the first one. And then I fought for the pension, finally granted it, and after bills you get about $430 a week, and my rent's $370 a week. So from January 22nd till what's the date today? 17th of December 2021, just before Christmas. Happy days. I'm a squatting vagrant. I'm famous and now infamous. I was famous, kind of nichely famous for writing a book and being a public illustrator of The Age and the Herald Sun, for which I was desecrated for. And in retrospect, my VCAT case for the Herald Sun also blew over, and my recent VCAT case to acknowledge all this. Human Rights Commission, Mental Health Complaints Commission were cooked, biased towards the hospital. I'm the bad guy. I'm the evil one. But in contrast, I've been framed as an extortionist who recorded this doctor to commence all this oppression and elongating the space by which I may top myself, which I did out of like a political act, you know. But anyway, they should have known better, because the Dr. Kumar at the hospital saw me 11 years before that, and he knew of the ASIO stuff and knew of my former partner, and he suggested calling the police because I felt sorry at risk with him sometimes. But anyway, I forgive everyone. There is no way out of this. There is a lockheads, deadlock, absolute deadlock. Now I've found out about politics by rendering, reverse engineering up from complaining about the GP to the Health Claims Commission and back, and started to wonder where these proxy attacks are coming from. Now, my former partner and ASIO agent, I kind of utilised a bit of financial coercion, and I was on a pension and expected to work. He was in 100 to 300 grand a year, feathering his own nest, and left me dying with his homeless dog. Not a pretty thing. Poor guy, you know, without that compassion. I've considered, am I a narc? You know, am I a bad person? Have I got personality disorder? All these other things they say about me, and I'm like, I actually don't think so. I'm looking logically at my track record of the things I've given to society in books and art and writing and speaking, and I've spoken in Parliament, I've spoken in Dublin, I've spoken in Montreal, I've exhibited around the world. I've always advocated for people more marginalised than me, and now I have been the marginalised one who was feeling suicidal and did not get the support I needed and overdosed. So it's a long story. It's a colourful story. At least it's not boring, hey? But look, I'm sending this video today because I'm trying to garner some support for a webpage in which they're trying to kill me. I'm less expensive if I kill myself by my own hand than if I got justice or any one of these agencies, which is not only the hospital and not only my former partner and not only ASIO, not only AGIS and not only the Office of Public Prosecutions and not only VMIAC and not only Centrelink and not only ASIC, who refused my whistleblower comment, and not only the Ombudsman, who refused my whistleblower comment, and not only IBAC, who refused my whistleblower comment. It's systemically and utterly cooked, and there is a huge discrepancy between the wall of oppression against a single person. I sometimes I think I'm no one, and I think I must be pretty good. I don't know. I'm confused. I am confused. My mind doesn't work anymore. Since hospital, I've been reading up on some research about the effect that bloodlessness has on the hippocampus, and it destroys your memory. And I'm distressed. I am distressed. I'm happy. I'm content. I know who I am. I know what to die for. You know, the office of the chief psychiatrist told me, "Well, you can't threaten to kill yourself every time you don't get what you want." I'm like, that's an awful thing to say to someone who was sexually abused. And the magistrate threw it out and has been thrashed and beaten up and has been rejected and fired and ostracised, excluded and neglected and all of it. I mean, I'm not in that victim mentality, but I actually enjoy my simple life. I'm my own best friend with my dog. I don't need a lot of people. I'm hoping the people that hear my story and the value in it and maybe know of some of the things that I've achieved and contributed to society. Human Rights World, Saints of the Year. Thanks, Jack Heath, he came through. He was right in a way. Give it up for your mental health, but I saw an ethical thing happening there. It's just not good. They're wanting me to die, and I knew this, and they were attacking me via each separate organisation, one after the other, and I didn't think that was cool. That's not cool. It's not cool either to have death threats at your window like I have had yesterday and last week. It's not cool to have your rational faction, half fiction paranoias that you exposed as your vulnerable point to gain your Human Rights Award in a all-telling book reflected in you as you know, life imitates art, imitates psychosis. Um, it's kind of a funny thing. Now I've been rejected. What was I going to say? I've been rejected my income assist because you know, stress is a mental illness. I've been rejected work cover. AFCA have conspired with HCF to not acknowledge some overdue determinations, which would have clearly seen me out of vagrancy, and I've survived on less than $60 to $80 a week for nearly a whole year. I don't know how I'm still standing, but you know what? I'm chipper. I'm happy, and I understand these systems and people and flying monkeys and attacks by proxy are just one stick in the, I hate the word faggot, of the oppression that's attacking me, but it's exactly the way it is, and it's death by a million stonings. But it's got to a little point, and elongated the space I might, you know, die in for a suicidal patient for a long time, and that overdose happened, and then they complained, and then the death did happen, and then further it became clear that they actually do want me to die, when in nearly a year I haven't got a psychologist, a psychiatrist, and barely a GP, and the NDIS rejecting all my receipts. The one way to attack me is in my business, personally, professionally, socially, and financially. They rendered me a pauper. That's the first thing they did. They attack me socially. I get those paranoias barked back to me through the window, and death threats that you know, are factionalized, and it just gives me. It does upset me, but knowing so many people hate me and don't know me, but and attack me like that by proxy, by understanding what really is liberal and slander, and this whole movement is a severe victimization, and it exploits already existing prejudices that exist in society. So therefore, someone's told a bit of bullshit or amplified in a certain way, and people go, oh yeah, fuck him. I'm a nice guy. I've spoken hundreds of times helping those more marginalised than myself. When I was with my former partner, I was on a DSP, and I was raising funding through a children's book centred on love for the Royal Children's Hospital. Suffice to say, I'm not sure if it's a government organisation. That also backfired. I'm just thinking in retrospect. I've tried my best to amplify prosperity and have it and keep it. There's many currencies of wealth though, and even though I'm a bit marred in the head and really forgetful now and have troubles, I own myself. I know myself. I know who I am, and I'm loving all of you, and I forgive all of you. And if there's anything I've done to harm people that have been through my own confusions, then I ask forgiveness, and same back the other way. But the thing is, this movement to desecrate me cannot continue, because it's gone not only from AFCA and AFSA and IBAC and the National Ombudsman, and everyone's gaslighted me along the whole way, and these pawns in powerful positions go back to their roast lamb every night, and they're paid by the man, which is the government, to toe the party line to oppress me. It's not cool to die when you're in a hospital. It's not cool to have medical malpractice covered up. It's not cool to have your human dignity and health rejected. It's not cool to have your business you worked on for 20 years, which was also your ABN, richmclean.com.au, desecrated intentionally by an organisation linked to the government, and did so with impunity from the law, as all these agencies and flying monkey proxy attacks actually do. So yeah, my business has been destroyed. It's ruined the agency through which I could potentially earn money. Now, other agencies that have covered this up are the business.vic.gov.au, business.gov.au, the Copyright Council, the Office of the Small Business and Family Ombudsman, the the it's like a bit of a black comedy actually. But anyway, it's at the Attorney General now, and I've sent a message to Josh Frydenberg, and I've said it's a conspiracy to manslaughter, and I'm just reading a little bit up on the things now what I've said. But I've written thousands of emails. There's just so many people. Dan Andrews had a shot of trying to support me, but he sent me to the to Werribee Mercy, who I've already actually been officially exonerated from as a client. So I haven't got my medication, which I need, and they intentionally and purposely cut me off. I'm not a bad person. I'm sorry if I was angry. I'm sorry if I get belated and bellicose towards people, but because when you keep me in a dog and locked in a cage, I'm going to bark back. But anyway, that aside, I apologise for all that. But like I'm a millionaire on paper, but it's money is just not my currency. Like that's not what I'm happy about. Like I'm happy now, but what I can't be happy about is everyone saying move on, because how do you move on? How do you move on when the government is diametrically opposed to you? I need to have a truce. I need to have a truce with the whole of the systemic Australian government, my former partner, the vulnerabilities I expressed in my autobiography, my former lovers. I need to say sorry to everyone, and I am. And you need to have some compassion for me, and you need to probably say a little bit like, well, you know. And I ask if you can't help me, which I asked for, considering the government's systemically oppressed me and designing my death, which you think might be amazing, but have a look at the website, killme.info, killim.info down below. It's quite extraordinary. And, I forget what I was saying. So, and just, if you can't help me, just don't hurt me. Don't come to my window and threaten death threats on me, because I'm going to be killed. Now, the evidence of this is that the doctors well know that I'm marred in the head because my memory's not good and I keep repeating the same broken dream, sending things out. I need to action this in a way that's beneficial for everyone. Mistakes happen, you know. People aren't saints. I'm not perfect. I absolutely aren't perfect. And you know what? The beautiful mistakes that I've made are has been the jewels in my conflicted life through existing that's created the art. I mean, where do the love songs come from? They come from breakups and lust and all that kind of stuff, you know. So maybe we can use this as like a vehicle for the creation of something. I don't want it to be oppression. I want it to be a kind thing. And I want to say, if you can't help me, at least don't hurt me. And by ignoring this, you're siding with a kind of a fascist, narcissistic, scapegoating government, and something really with the emotional depth and compassion of a credit card that's collectively victimising and vilifying a single person, and that single person is not perfect, but he's sorry and he has done a lot for the world, and that's been through altruism. So I just wanted to put this out here today and say, you know, happy days. And I've just written some notes down here. I can easily prove that this abhorrent state, local and federal government conspiracy to maim me tries to give me welfare, which doesn't work. But I don't need a welfare. I need justice, and I need a lawyer, and I need someone to stand on my side, because quietly, I don't know how intelligent it is. I'm absolutely 100% I've been reverse framed or reverse set up or something, because I've been tagged in pedo posts, called a rapist, all this stuff, you know. Now, these mechanisms exist because it's gone so high up in the chain. It's with the Attorney General, and it's with Josh Frydenberg and a lot of powerful people. I'm just a dude, man. You know, sometimes I have little fans that go, maybe I'm the new Christ or the laughing Buddha coming back in the end times. And doing I'm not. And to do a PhD focused on global catastrophic risk and the end of the human age, capitalism, and the end of the Anthropocene, and the post-human crossbreedings of the future. I mean, there's a lot of things that are in my knowledge that people don't want you to know. Anyway, so I just wanted to say it's Rich Mclean. I'm a victim, but I'm a happy victim, and I forgive you, and I'm content. And Crystal, where are you? Are you here? Oh, she's my dog. She's my dog. She's cool. She's my beautiful life mascot. I found out I'm the one under investigation, but I offer a truce with hope and compassion. I want people to support me until the government comes round. And why should I back down? And how can I forgive and just move on and draw pictures like I used to do when that was cooked from the start anyway? I mean, I was fired from the Age for being a bisexual, drug-taking schizophrenic. It's kind of a funny story. But anyway. And you know what? Some people will never go crazy. What incredibly boring people they are. And the fact that also madness is very fucking rare in individuals, but it's the norm in society, and I think we all can relate to that. So it's Rich Mclean signing off. Go and have a look at killim.info.au. Please help me if you can. I literally have no food. I'm months behind in rent. I haven't got a doctor. I haven't got specialists. Now, if I had cancer and I wasn't given chemo, it'd be outrage. But because it's me, it's a different story. Now, travel on, stay safe, love each other, be kind. If you can't be kind, don't hurt anyone. And, I don't know, try and forgive, and let's all move on, make the world a better place, and get some support for me so I can get back on track after a year of living in abject poverty. And the movement aiding and abetting my death by enlarging that space that could happen. I'm strong, and my resilience is my strength. So I hope you enjoyed this little talk, and I'd say feel free to look me up on my website, but that's destroyed. But look at killim.info, because that's what they're going to do. And I just want to move on so everyone can give and forgive and be better people. All right. So please help me. If you can't help me, don't hurt me. Thanks for listening.